All right, so we're talking sugar. Does that morning pastry or donut leave you craving another sweet like an hour later like me? Do you grab a candy bar to cope with your afternoon slump? Sugar cravings can get the best of us. Luckily, we have Allie Miller here, registered dietitian and nutrition expert, to tell us how to stop, how to control those sugar cravings. And you have a recipe that you're going to make for us today to help us do that. So first of all, Allie, why do we get these sugar cravings?
Well, there's question whether it's innate. You know, as a baby, the first taste we get is often very sweet. The initial breast milk or formula is very sweet. And then through evolution, there's question of whether we've evolved to crave sweet, because the more bitter tannic foods, some of the vegetation were the poisonous foods. The toxic foods were bitter. And so we kind of evolved to eat the sweeter foods as safe foods.
But is a little bit of sugar okay? I mean, sugar's like in fruits and stuff, isn't it?
Right. So there's a difference between a simple sugar and a wholesome food. The simple sugars can be found in whole foods like fruits, but then there's the refined sugars, which are going to be in like our high fructose corn syrup, corn sugar, refined table sugar.
Which is in almost everything.
Yes, yes. The consumption has increased drastically. The recommended amount is 5 to 6 teaspoons a day, and Americans are typically consuming 30 to 40 teaspoons a day.
But it tastes so good. It tastes so good. So what should we favor? What kind of food should we choose instead? I mean, I assume like natural foods.
Right. So we want to tame our sugar cravings by giving ourselves some sugar, because it is inevitable. And we need that sugar for our blood sugar in our body to stay regulated. But we want to choose the foods that have fiber or antioxidants accompanied with the sugar. It kind of buffers the effects and creates less of a drastic spiking, which will keep our energy levels more regulated. So choices like that would be wholesome foods such as well, the nice sweeteners we can choose from would be like the Rapadura or sucanat.
What is that?
Yeah, that sounds kind of funky.
Yeah.
It is essentially a unrefined cane sugar.
Okay.
So cane sugar is the predominant like table sugar that we have, but the Rapadura or the sucanat is at about step 12 of the refining process.
Okay.
And the end product that we usually see is about step 30 plus.
And what were the other things on the list there? Maple syrup, agave, molasses, honey.
Yes.
What about artificial sweeteners quickly before we get to the recipe?
Yeah. So
what about like stevia? I've heard a lot about that.
So there's we call them nutritive or non-nutritive sweeteners. The nutritive sweeteners, which really tend to lack the nutrition other than the ones I listed, those ones do have B vitamins and minerals. The non-nutritive are non-caloric, or the artificial sweeteners. Of that classification, I typically recommend the more plant-based ones like the stevia or the Truvia.
Okay.
The big thing to be concerned about with those is we get the Pavlov's dog effect of that taste of sweet.
Yeah, makes you crave more.
Right, yet no calories come with it. And so our body actually releases insulin expecting sugar, and we get a higher craving in the end.
Well, let's tame our cravings here with some, what are you going to make for us?
We're going to make a banana ice cream. It's a really fun, simple recipe.
Okay.
So basically you start with peeled frozen bananas. You can just freeze them overnight. I have 4 bananas here. And you can do this in a food processor or a blender. Okay. So you're just going to get them fluffed up real nice with a 1/4 cup of an unsweetened almond milk. So this would be a non-dairy version, but you could do it with dairy milk as well. That would be just fine.
That's a 1/4 cup, you said?
This is just a 1/4 cup with 4 bananas,
All right.
And it's an unsweetened almond milk because the bananas really give it enough sugar on its own. So you just kind of fluff those up.
Okay.
And then once they get mixed well, there we start to go. Once they get relatively mixed, I'm going to add actually a scoop of protein powder. And you could keep it non-animal product if you wanted to use like a pea or rice-based protein, but I used a whey protein. Okay. So the protein is going to balance with the sugars of the carbohydrate to blunt that spiking and help us to build muscle versus fat in the body.
Good.
So I'm putting in a scoop of whey protein powder, and then 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. This is unsweetened. It's going to give us those antioxidants and a little bit of bitter to offset the sweet.
And is that it?
And a pinch of sea salt. I always need my salty with my sweet. Yeah.
Okay, now while you're mixing that up, this is actually the finished product?
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It looks like
real ice cream.
Bluebell chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to taste some because you know I have this sweet tooth, and let's see.
And that was my cheat from frozen overnight, but fresh it's even better.
Wow. This recipe is on HoustonTexasFood.com. Please check it out. Back to you.
Hi, please.
What?
What do you mean, what? I'm jealous you're in there eating the ice cream and I'm here with Murphy. I'm kidding, I love you. We got Jeff Murphy from the Canine Country Club at a giant fire hydrant.